You're listening to the RMTV podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the RMTV podcast, episode 16. Jordy, Luke, how are you lads?
Good, man. Good. Good to be back.
Oh, feeling the effects of a big weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah, mate, I had back-to-back events on, and obviously yesterday the Chookies got up at Newey, and we're all up at Newcastle, boys. How was it?
Oh, mate, it was great.
It was all right for those of us that actually went to the game. Some of us were in Newcastle and didn't go.
Yeah, mate, had an engagement party on, but there was still a TV there, so I managed to watch the boys get up, but... Yeah, it was a bit of a, not an iffy game, bit of rain out, but Chooks managed to pull the win. So.
Some of us were good and we stayed in it. A lot of those Newcastle fans left in the rain. I don't know why. Soft.
23,000 people. It didn't feel like it.
Nah.
What's it hold? What's it?
26.
I think it's like, 27 and a half is like their absolute max. But it was a good crowd because I think it was a good crowd, but crap happens. We'll talk about it a bit later.
Yeah, sweet. So for this episode, we're going to dive into the round that was, round 15. And then we'll have a look at a few news topics that was. And we'll go into a mid-season review of a few of the teams and, which teams are hot, which teams are cold. And round 16 preview. But most importantly, we're going to preview the Blues who are going to smoke Queensland this Wednesday. So...
Keep talking.
Look, I'm just wondering if, it might be possible for Queensland to make it a challenge in Perth. They haven't been able to do that last two times, so...
Yeah. Oh, we'll dive into that. So we'll dive into the first game that was. Sharks 30 over the Dragons 18. 8,500 down at Shark Park, mate. They love a huge crowd down there. Boys, what'd you think of it? Like, honestly, I thought, I don't know, man, bit of pressure on the Flanagan, the father and the son right now.
No Maccas for sure.
Mate, I'll tell you what, you come over Captain Cook when you leave Shark Park to head back to where Kyle lives, which, funnily enough, is in Kyle Bay. You go past like a KFC, a Macca's, I think there's a couple of pizza joints, Big John's is out there. Big John's, you drive past Big John's. Shane wasn't stopping at any of them, that's for sure.
Nah, I'll tell you what though, I was at work when the game was on and I thought, oh, well, here come the Saints, right? And I'm like, God, there was 5 games. Surely we get 5 from 5 this round, and I thought we all did. But obviously, there's one game we'll talk about. But yeah, Cronulla, I guess, classy in the back end. But yeah, I don't know. I still think they got the win, Cronulla, but they played okay. Yeah, the comeback was on, but they're still very inconsistent for me, just like them and Manly. But
yeah, and then Fanua Blake, he stepped up in that second half.
Yeah,
I think he made a big impact up the middle. But like you just said, the first half they were slow. And if it was another team, I don't think Cronulla would have come back that easy.
Nah, if it was Chooks, it would have been a repeat of what happened at Gosford, mate. But
yeah,
I think
what the Wars done to them last week as well.
I think they just got out of first gear and put the Saints to bed. But yeah, look, blew the lead. And Flano, does he get dropped or does he go back to 6?
Send him back to the 6. I mean...
Or New South Wales Cup.
Funnily enough, I got sent a text message straight after the game from my mate Dylan, and it was, what's the, his percentage of win percentage as a halfback in the NRL? And we worked it out. He's at under 35% winning with the 7 jersey on, right? So... Obviously, he's begged for it, and he said, Daddy, please give me the 7. I'm the best. I'm your son. And it backfired. Like, sometimes you can't blame the halves for what they do, but on that game, you can blame the halves because Cook was doing his job, Gutho was doing his job, their forwards were doing their job. It was just Flanagan who wasn't. Like, what he was doing well in the first half, he went away from, and it just cost them.
Yeah, look, well, what were you going to say, Luke, sir?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything he was just saying. And I think I'd drop him personally.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens for the Wish Clearys. That's what I think. So.
Cleary's off Timu.
Yeah, and then the game on Saturday, Friday, Titans versus the Eagles, 28-8. Now, my mate, we're going to get the Manly 13 plus, put a few dollars on it, and geez, the old Titans, mate, they came out of the woodworks.
Honestly, I was watching with my brother-in-law, and we were sitting there, and he put a bet on, and it was just like a line win for Manly, and we were sitting there, and we sort of looked at each other at halftime and went, what the heck is going on here? Like, Manly played stupid. They played dumb football. They couldn't piece anything together. And the Titans just outclassed them. The Titans that we've seen in like patches for 5-10 minutes showed up for 80 minutes this time. But shout out to Ruben Garrick, man. 150th game. He scored 2 tries.
Yeah.
Shout out to Manly season as well. You might as well put a line through it. Ola Kawatu, who's now dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah.
Listening to Matty Johns, there is a very possible chance he gets surgery. He gets surgery on it, that's his season done. If he doesn't get surgery, it's around the 6-week mark. So I think it's safe to say Manly are a bit up shit creek without a paddle.
Yeah.
And as you said before, the Titans fans are coming out of the woodworks. I think now the Manly fans are going back into the woodworks.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there, Luke. And even my mate Riley, he goes, one week they're premiership threats, and next week they're just dog shit. I was just going to say, like, I just think once DC announced he's leaving, they've just gone.
Yeah, they've gone downhill.
Yeah. And you know the worst thing, though? They had a really good halfback replacement lined up in the Manly system if DC retired. He's currently playing for South Sydney in Jamie Humphries.
Yeah.
He's a Manly boy who, Manly Junior who they let go, and it's going to come back to bite them now. Because Luke Brooks ain't a 7. We all saw that at Wests.
Yeah. Personally, I think DC played a good game still. Like regardless of the result, he stepped up still. And Titans, at the end of the day, they were just too strong. Both Firma saved the try on the line. He stood out.
I think Boyard had a point to prove, obviously getting dropped from game 1. And
pick and stick at its finest, huh?
Yeah, Billy, that's it. But yeah, I think DC obviously, still had a good game, but is he going to get the send off in game 3? Like, if Queensland lose game 2, you reckon they might put him in for one more? Or?
I think they should, but a few Queensland fans I've spoken to, and I sent that message to you and Benny as well, and they think it's like if you do that, it's kind of making a joke out of it. But he didn't deserve to be dropped for game 2. But we'll talk about Origin later anyway, because it's just.
It's so
Queensland.
keen, mate. I'm keen for Origin. I can't stop thinking.
He can't. It's just Origin's on his mind, man.
Yeah,
There's something I'm more keen for though.
Yeah.
I want to blast the heck out of a lot of people right now. We're going to talk about the Roosters Knights game. First things first. Jared Sutton, you're shit. Please retire. Just please retire. And there's one point out of this, and I lost my shit at the game. And Luke was next to me, so he can confirm this.
Would have been a sight to see.
Well, actually, there was 2 things. I was calling him everything under the sun. Zach Docker-Clay got hit legitimately in the back of the head so high that if the swinging arm was any higher, it would have missed his head. No penalty. Then immediately after that, and I went back to watch the game today to confirm this, and timed it. They held Zach for 8 seconds. 8 seconds. The average play-to-ball speed in that game was 3.2 seconds. They held for 8, and we couldn't get a penalty or a sin bin or anything out of that. So Jared Sutton, you're shit. You're a cheater. I'm over it. I'm fed up with this. It's no wonder Dogs fans threw water bottles at you because you are that horrible.
Do you think it was just something lacking in the brains department there?
Well, common sense, man. Like, Docker Clay got hit high with 8 seconds left to go in the first half. He then spun away after the high contact. He then gets wrapped up and held for 8 seconds. And Teddy even went up to Sutton when they've held him for that long. They've hit him that high. How have you not done anything? And then all of a sudden it's, go away. He's telling him to go away. Well, no, hang on. He's got a legitimate gripe there because you've screwed up. Not to mention 3 captain's challenges were successful, which meant Sutton screwed at least 3 up. But yeah, I mean, the penalty count. We didn't get a 6 again.
Not one.
Didn't get a single 6 again. The penalty count at the 60th minute was 6-1 Knights. It ended up 6-3. And there was at least another 5 to 10 penalties that could have been given in the game. I'm just over it. He's horrible. Every week he's horrible. It doesn't matter who he does. Who's he got photos of to keep getting games? That's what I want to know.
In the first half, he gave 3-6 against to Newcastle all on the last tackle.
Yeah. So with all of this, the ref, you could say allegedly being on the Newcastle side.
Ain't no alleged about it.
Yeah. Well, the Roosters did get the win, 12-8, mate, in front of 24,000. What did you take out of it, Luke?
Mate,
who stood out for you?
One player that stood out for me hugely was Billy Smith.
That
tackle on Fletcher Hunt.
Oh,
and did you see when Fletcher Hunt got the ball the second time, He was shit
Yeah,
scared.
I did
He
see
was
that.
shit scared. But I was gonna say in the second half, the boys were on the bench. They were like training in front of us.
Yeah.
And I made a comment to Jordan. I said to him, "Look at Nefua White and Feketi. When they get on, watch us turn the game around."
Yeah.
And when those boys got on, we were down 8-0. They turned the game around. Seeing Feketi get that try was fucking amazing.
But for Ketty going back, like he's been playing in the middle, going back to that left edge back row, which is natural position, and then just breaking Fletcher Hunt's ankles. It was incredible.
He looked the most natural in that position on the left edge. And
Well, that's it. That's what a lot of people are talking about. All this. Oh, prop shouldn't be able to do that. He's not a prop. He is a genuine back rower who has gone into the middle because that's what we need out of him.
he had that Roger Tuivasa step on him, mate.
Hey, he did. I loved it.
Mate, it's no longer a Tuivasa check. It is now the Feketi step.
Yeah.
But also, I'm gonna blow a few other people up here because this is gonna be part 2 of my blow up tonight.
Yeah. Take it away.
Siwa Wong. If you don't think that was a try, go jump off a freaking cliff. Now, everyone's been on social media. Oh, it's not a try. That's got robbed. None of those people were complaining last week when Katoni Staggs jumped up, caught a ball, dropped it, grounded it with his wrist. They all went, yeah, that's a try. None of them were complaining. Now, anyone who thinks it's not a try, go read the NRL rulebook for starters. This is your first thing. Go read the damn rulebook. He didn't touch it with his hand. It was his wrist. It rolled down his wrist into his forearm. He grounded in one go without separation. Everyone's trying to say he knocked it on. Everyone's trying to say he didn't regain possession. No crap, because he never had the possession to regain. If you're a Knights fan, have the shits at your winger, your centre, and your fullback, who all got outrun by a back rower to the ball, not the back rower who scored a legal try.
Yeah.
I get it. Some people don't like it, don't think it should be in a rule, and you know what? If that's what they think,
That's the thing,
what
though. That's the rule.
Yeah,
They're just going by the rule. I think people are a bit, skeptical about it because it's a rule and they went with the try, but, that's just the way it is. I looked at it when I first saw it, I thought, ooh, but...
My first thought, and I said this to Luke, was, no, we need to look at his arm, because his arm, I knew it was close. I was like, if that's hit his hand and bounced away, well, no try. It didn't. So if you don't think that's a try, go read the NRL rulebook and get a clue before you ever comment on a game, because at the end of the day, this is not a matter of opinion. This is not a matter of grey area. Black and white in the NRL rulebook, that is a try. And yes, I know I'm going to cop but you're a Roosters fan. Of course you say that. I have watched the Roosters lose games because of tries like that, and I accept it because that is the rule. Get over it. Theoretically, he could have grounded it with his torso and it's still been a try. It is what it is. So they're my 2 blow-ups from the weekend, because I hate people that want to sit there and whinge. At the end of the day, the Knights went to sleep and they paid the price.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
our backs all stepped up. Like Dom Young, it was his final game with us.
Yep.
And we saw him afterwards. We saw him late last night.
Yeah, saw him later back in Newey, mate. Back in his stomping grounds, I reckon.
Mate,
he looked
he's
in his
saying it.
element up there at the club wet. But I was just going to say, Jordy, mate, I need to slap like a garment on you and check your heart rate right now.
Oh, mate, honestly, Luke was really, I nearly got into, there were comments that I made that I could not repeat on air to certain Knights fans.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something funny. Jordan made a comment. He cracked his shit. Then he's like, I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
And as soon as he went to the bathroom, everyone's just looking. They thought he was storming out of the stadium.
Yeah. So mind you, they thought I was storming out of the stadium. So a couple of Knights fans wanted to try and have a shot at me. Yeah. And I'll give you the PG version of what I said, but they were having a shot at me. Luke knows how good this is. They're having a shot at me, and the PG version of what I said was, your mum still owes me $50 from services rendered, so I'm going to go get it from her. Mind you, this is early in the game where I'm just like, all right, I need to go pee because I had a couple of drinks, been there since 1 o'clock. And those Knights fans got awfully quiet after that, though. And they got awfully quiet when we were yelling at them when Feketi scored that try. But anyway.
Yeah, good boys. How good. All right. Well, let's dive into the game that was. Cowboys lost to the Dolphins, mate. 58-4 up at North Queensland. Wow, mate. Finn's up. They're looking hot right now.
Katoa. It's all on Katoa's shoulders. I'm sorry.
They're looking amazing. Over 3 games, 158 points they've scored. 158-18.
Some teams wouldn't even put that up in a year. Like, look at Newcastle. They ain't going to get 158 this year.
I think they're actually no. I think Newcastle have got it. There's only one team who hasn't scored more than 200 points this year, and it's actually Parramatta who I think are on like 130. So
We're not going to get there.
I was going to say it could be a tough slog
I
for
was
them.
going to say Parramatta, have a feeling. But, mate, Dolphins stood out. Where did I start? Jack Bostock, 4 tries, nearly got a 5th try.
Yeah, I think he
Football gods got him back.
Yeah, I think he was preempting when he was going to catch. He was going to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. I did see that. I thought, yeah, that's pretty cool when he did that down the side. But
Yeah, but karma bites.
That's it. Even the forwards like Francis Molo and Mark Nichols, mate, they killed it. But one player that stood out for me, Cody Nikarima. 31 years of age, scored a try, and right now he's killing it in the halves alongside Katoa. The combo they have is crazy. And they've proved it the last month. He's just so strong, and he's one of the best halves in the comp right now.
no, he's looking real hot.
I think it's because of Katoa that Cody looks good. Like, and that's not a shot at Cody. Like, Katoa playing the way he has unlocked Cody.
Yeah, Cody and Katoa, mate. It could be a little boy band coming along.
Mate,
The
it's like-
2Ks.
The KKs.
The KK.
Mate, they're killing it though, and the score says it all. Cowboys, I don't know, I feel like I've been saying since the start of the year, I think they're going to make the top 8, but
Hang on. You said top 4.
Top
Thank
four,
you.
top
Top
four.
4.
But now, I'm like, after yesterday's performance, I know Tamalolo was supposed to play, then he did his calf before in the warm up.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like to put that score on.
It's funny. A
tough.
lot of people have said that about the Cowboys. Oh, they're missing Robson, they're missing Dearden, they're missing Tamaloa. Well, you know what? Hammer, Saifidi, Plath, Gilbert. They were all out for the Dolphins, and the Dolphins showed up.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like, you can't, like, if you're a Cowboys fan, you can't say, oh, we had all these people missing. Because you look at the other sideline, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone just stood out on the night for the Finns.
The Finns, mate. Yeah, no, I think I reckon they got a decent chance of making the 8. You know, we're halfway through the year. Depends if they get any injuries. I think it happened last year. They're looking good, and then injuries bit
Sort of
them in
just
the
blew
arse.
off. But I think Katoa's at another level this year, which is make him better.
Yeah, no, good on him. And then the last game of the round, mate, you were there today, Lukey. Bunnies, Bulldogs, 24-18. It was a decent game, wasn't it?
Mate, crazy weather conditions.
Yeah, how was it with the so the game got called off for a bit there.
Yeah, I was surprised actually. Like, I know it was because of lightning. The rain wasn't that strong, but
It was just
you gotta do what's best.
Yeah.
The best was seeing Adam G get escorted into the tunnel with an umbrella.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
Don't worry about any other players, just the referee.
But you know the worst thing, right? If lightning comes down and hits, it's gonna hit the umbrella. So like, because you can see him get under it, and then he's like, "Hang on," and then he just walked out straight from underneath the umbrella. Like, I'm not gonna stay here.
But yeah, the one thing I noted, they got 23,000 there. Maybe could have been the weather, but I thought they would add some more fans there.
Mate, that was shocking. I'm gonna say straight out, and not because I'm a Roosters supporter. The
it's-
Borough,
yeah.
crazy, useless.
I saw a photo. There was like 6 people. sitting
Mate, they
there.
are useless. And the Bulldogs fans, they're all coming out of the woodworks. If they weren't coming first, the crowd wouldn't be 23,000. It'd be 8,000.
I was gonna
like
say
Cronulla.
it'd be like 8 or 9,000. Cronulla might have done them.
But the Bulldogs, I don't think they played their best footy. I know they got a couple of players out, but yeah, it was a close game in the end.
Yeah, I thought Souths had a decent crack. Like you like Jairo, he stood up. Jack Wyden, he was a captain.
Yeah.
He had a crack.
Keon had another crack as always.
Munro, he had a good crack as well. And I think Alex Johnson, mate, he always puts in 100%.
Yeah.
He got another try. He just, mate, try fest him every week.
Just
that
ticking it off until he gets there.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, the one thing I noticed, mate, Jake Turpin, mate, first of all, your haircut, and then second of all, that high show did 10 in the bin. That could have been a chance for the South Sydney boys to come back, but
Yeah,
just wasn't enough.
you got him
in the
back
end.
in the game.
yeah, got him back into it. That's for sure.
Well, they had that one lucky try when Munro caught it, and then I thought, a minute and a half, and then I think it was Humphreys who just got smashed by Jake.
Preston just
Jake
lined him up.
and that was the ball game, boys.
No, it was a good game, but one thing for Souths, they're too busy worried about the stadium being theirs, Allianz and all that. They got to be worried about their injury ward. More injuries got added to their list over the afternoon.
Sucked in.
Kalamatangi, Jai Gray and Sullivan all injured, with the rest are already on injuries already.
Don't worry. What they'll be asking for next is not just to have Allianz, but the NRL needs to give them other playmakers and other players from other teams so that they can field a team every week. Because we've got to back them up. We've got to support
And then
them.
when they lose that, It just feel like
It'll just be someone else's fault.
And
It'll be the Pommies. It'll be like the English cricket team. It'll be moral victories.
And then they'll just want every Sydney junior base because they've taken East.
Oh, mate, exactly. Why not just keep going more?
But if you want Allianz 50,000 stadium, you can't even fill up one bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Show up to your team's home games first, and then we'll talk about it. Or put in the amount of money the Roosters put in. This is the best part of the conversation. Oh, the Roosters don't own it. Yeah, well, the Roosters put in more money than anyone else, so match it or piss off.
Yep.
That's
No.
it.
Sorry, I'm in a mood tonight, as you can tell.
I think you're in a great mood tonight. But the only money they've put in is for those little shirts they're wearing. Take us back to the heart. Or what are the Heartland shirts?
Mate, they didn't even pay for their own bloody centre of excellence. It was tax fund to pay it.
Yeah,
if you can't afford to do that, don't worrying about what stadium you're playing in.
The RMTV podcast is brought to you by The Legal Problem Solver. The team brings over 25 years of experience in wills, probate, estates, conveyancing, property and commercial law. Connect with The Legal Problem Solver on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram.
All right, well, we'll move on now. Here's my next segment, news topics of the week. Mate, Victor Radley, 7 HIAs in 4 seasons. Category 2s. What are we thinking with Rads? Is it getting concerning?
It's always a concern around head knocks, but I trust the club. The Roosters are number 1 in head knock management, concussion management, so by a mile, and everyone knows it, so I'll leave that to the club.
Yeah, couldn't be said any better by Jordan. But as we've seen with Luke Keary in the past,
With Luke Keary?
in the past, like the clubs, you trust the club, and look where Luke Keary ends up. Everyone's like he's going to retire. Played throughout the whole year, and now he's
playing reserve grade in France.
Are you worried that it could be a case of your Boyd Cordner?
It's getting into that feel, but one thing I remember from when Cordner done it, and this is why I'm very cautious about what I say on this topic, is, you know, one of Cordner's biggest issues was like, everyone's telling me, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to retire, you need to not. I trust the club. I trust the medical team. I trust him and his partner to make the right decision. I'll leave it to them.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. It's the club knows how to handle it. They've done it in the past, and they'll do it with this.
Yeah. And
it's concerning though. It's honestly concerning.
Yeah, it's always a concern when anyone gets.
But I think Rads this year he's changed his tackling technique a bit, which is good to see. So yeah, it's just unfortunate, but he'll be back.
Yeah, for sure.
And in other news, mate, the May brothers are back. They're back together, mate. Taylor May signs a train and trial contract with the Tigers. What are you thinking, boys?
No brainer. He was always going to the Tigers.
Yeah, I heard he got an offer from Souths, but I'm just like, he's going to get the Tigers, mate. Him and his brother, they'll probably carpool from.
Yeah,
I think they're still living out near Mount Druitt to Concord. So, and they're doing a podcast together now. So
yeah,
seems like everyone's starting to play.
See what happens with that one. That'll get a bit loose, I reckon.
Yeah.
Does the third May join them from England?
Oh, maybe, mate.
I don't think so. I don't think he's NRL level.
He's croissant level right now, mate. He's enjoying all the croissants and.
Well, he set up that try last week in the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, that was good. But what do you think, Luke? Do you think Taylor May's gonna make his debut for the Tigers this year? You reckon he'll find his way into the 13?
You never know what's going to happen in Tiger Town. I personally think it will over the next couple of weeks, maybe towards the back end of the season, depending on how the Tigers are going in the comp, whether they're in the top 8 or they're going nowhere.
Yeah.
If they're not going anywhere, I think they're just playing for the shits and gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Benji's trying to build a culture there, so he's not going to do it unless it's going to be beneficial for the team. So I think he'll have that in the back of his mind, but it means maybe Dewey goes into the halves for a bit longer, move Luai back to 6, Dewey into 7, Taylor comes into play in the 3 jersey.
It could be that way. If they keep losing games, Benji might want to start throwing some ideas around. So
yeah, giving some guys some debuts and stuff.
And Jed Stewart, the son of Ricky Stewart, set to make his debut. What do we think about that, boys? I don't even know Ricky Stewart had a son. So
I'll believe it. Yeah. He's part of the weak gutted dog comments about salmon.
Yes, that's right.
I'll believe it when the team gets named.
Was he the son who got the weak gutted dog? Oh, so when he goes up against Jamin,
it'll be fun.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Be on for young and old, that's for sure.
The weak gutted dog cup, mate.
Yeah, the WGDC.
Yeah, no, that'll be good.
Yeah, no, look, I'll believe it when the teams are announced, because at the moment Ricky's very hesitant to hand him a game because of it's his son perception, and that was even the case. He was a 19th man for Vegas, and Ricky didn't want to bring him over, but Tarpany and all that pulled Ricky into a room and said, he's earned it. He deserves it like any other player. Bring him. So I'll believe it when I see it because I think Ricky's wants to be cautious.
Ricky's a smart man. He'll know what to do, mate. He's
Yeah.
not gonna put him in early. A Flanagan case might happen. You just don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, where you've got to follow daddy to get jobs.
yeah. All right. Well, let's we're moving now to our mid-season review. So obviously, halfway through the season, yeah. Look, there's been some highs and lows for the Chooks. There's been some great wins. I think the standout Anzac Day was a good one for me, boys. And my second standout, beating Penrith for the first time.
Oh, that was huge.
I think that would just probably pip Anzac Day. That was, wow.
That was incredible. And to be there as well was just... And to watch the reaction on Penrith fans' faces. But, look, it's not all about the Chooks. I've gone through and I've picked 8 teams. So we'll go through them one by one and have a chat. But so you guys at home know what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the club, what Fox Sports has given them as a grade so far on their year, whether we agree or disagree with it. I've got some stats about the club that are positive and negative. And then, I'm sure we'll have some other positive and negatives for the club. But we're going to start off with the Broncos because, we like to start in the Bs. Fox Sports gave them a D so far on this year.
Yeah.
Now, positive-wise, they're 4th in points scored, 4th in tries, and 4th in goals. The negative is they're actually 2nd in penalties conceded. They've given up 81 penalties this year.
So discipline.
I mean, look, positive out of the Broncos, and you see it every week, is Payne Haas. Like, if it wasn't for him, they're screwed. Negative, again, reliance on Haas, and I know you'll probably talk about Paddy Carrigan. But, mate, without Haas and Carrigan, they're screwed. There's nothing about them. So I think a D's fair for where they're sitting because they have majorly disappointed, especially after round 1.
Yeah, even an E maybe, but the
Mate,
D's fair.
Mate, we don't do E's here. We're not in this participation culture. It's D, we go down to an F. It's a fail.
Yeah.
And they're getting close to it.
I think it would have been an E if they lost against Titans last week.
Yeah.
But like Jordan said, Pat Garrigan as well, he stood up with Payne Haas in the lock, played a bit in the front row as well, so he stood up. But the backs, they haven't turned up like they should have. With the team on paper, they should, and I feel like the culture is like the negative to it. What's going around, and one thing which is a negative to me is the way Martin Tapau, the way he was treated, like the way they sacked him, and like we've spoken about many times on this podcast. The Ezra Mam situation, Naro's let him play again, but Tapau for that social media post, like, man, some stupid
Very
calls up
weird.
there.
Yeah,
some
very
stupid
weird.
calls, and honestly, they deserve everything they're getting up there.
I think I'll throw one at the Broncos. A positive, I think, was the black jersey they wore for the like that was a good standout, and it probably puts a good stain on the club.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was a really good thing for them to do. But moving on from the Buck and Broncos, look,
Doggies.
they're coming first, the Doggies. And look, to be honest, there's some really good stuff going on there, First, they're leading the comp in possession. They're sitting at 53%. They're 2nd in kick return meters, which is huge for their back three. They've run 2,426 meters return, which is
That's some impressive
incredible.
Backs right there.
Yeah, Canberra's the only one better than them. But, it hasn't always been pretty. We spoke about it before. They're struggling at the moment. They just don't seem to click. And I know a lot of their fans go, we're missing all these players. But they're not, mate. Their first half starts have been horrible, apart from a couple of games this year, including today. And their tackling. Their tackling's actually been horrible. They are one of the worst in ineffective tackles. So if you don't know what an ineffective tackle is for those listening at home.
Kind of like a flop in a way?
No, it's not so much a flop, but it's where you make a tackle, but it wasn't effective. So, for example, if you wrap someone by the legs, but they keep running and then kick out's got to come over the top and finish it, that's an ineffective tackle.
Right. Okay.
So they're one of the worst of that. So it's putting a higher workload on them. But to be honest, a positive out of this club, and this is going to be controversial, Toby Sexton. I don't think the Dogs are where they are today without Toby Sexton.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say my positive would probably be, Sexton as well.
He's changed the way they play football.
And I think adding to Sexton in the positive, I think his interview he did with Fox after the game where they beat Para, I think the way he handled himself, obviously would have been a bit disappointed when, Lockie Galvin came on, told him to go to hook, and he thought, like, are you joking? But, like, you would think pre-game they would have knew the plan. So, like, but then again, Sexton, you know, I feel for the guy, but I guess that's the way the club's going. And a negative as well for the club. I think Galvin, I just don't think they need him this year. But I'm not feel good. So
Yeah, nah. For my positive, I've gone Matt Burden.
Birdo.
And like he is,
You're a big Birdo fan, mate, aren't you?
not really, mate. I
You
give it
want
to
him in the Blues
every time we play against him. I hate him. Can't stand him. But
Yeah.
for the Dogs, mate, top player. His kicking game, one of the best kicking games, along with Jamal Fogarty, in my opinion. Two of the best players in their halves, like with their kicking games. And he stood up, as we saw in the Parramatta game last week. He won him the game. Personally, I think he won the Bulldogs the game comfortably.
Drilled him to death, yeah.
And my negative, like you boys just mentioned, the shift around with Galvin and all that. You're coming first. Why are you gonna worry about doing something like that halfway through the season? As well, another negative is some of the stupid penalties they've given away, leading to suspensions. Like today, we saw Jake Turpin, Satili in the past. He got a 5-match ban.
Yeah, that was a dumb one from Satili.
Preston was
Two
out.
dumb ones.
Yeah, Preston was out for a bit. Like, yeah, they can't do that stuff come finals because you only got one opportunity after round 27. You stuff that up, you stuff the whole year up.
And I think it could be a case of maybe short-term pain, long-term gain in terms of the Galvin thing. Maybe that's the way they're thinking. So
Yeah, I think that's the thought. But I still I'm not a fan of it, but I have other reasons for it than the club itself. I think more on Galvin than anything else.
yeah, no, 100%.
But we'll move on to the Panthers. This
Panthers,
is one that I really enjoyed writing because it made me feel really good while I was doing it.
Got a bit giddy.
Number one, the refs still love them. Don't know why, but the refs still love them. Look, first in all runs, so their runs in terms of like run meters is impressive. They're fourth in kick return meters, which is again shout out to Toto and Jenkins who've done most of that, and Edwards who decides when he wants to run a ball when the middles are tired. But three things that made me so happy. Third in missed tackles with 449. They're third in tackles made, which means they've had to hand the ball over to make those tackles. 4,825 tackles this year. And they're third in errors with 151. And it just makes me happy to see that fall from grace because I'm fed up with the arrogance out of Penrith fans. Mate, you've been good for 4 years. That's it. Like, get over it.
I think the arrogance batton's being passed down the road to Canterbury Banks.
It has been. It 100% has been.
That's what I'm starting to notice.
The amount of crap I hear out of Dogs fans is like, bro, you haven't even, like...
Haven't won one yet.
You played one finals game, which you blew. Like, bit different if you've sat there and you've went through all the crap. Those boys, like the Touchline boys, Emilio, Fred and all that have gone through all that stuff. Shout out to them boys because they went through the crap. They deserve to enjoy it. But these bandwagoners that are showing up and going, yeah, we're the best. Prove yourselves, then come talk to us. Come talk to any club. Without proof, it's not there.
It's funny you say bandwagoners because I feel like Panthers, as we've seen in the crowd numbers, they're becoming bandwagoners, not turning up to many games.
Yeah, the bandwagon, they've dropped off.
They only turn up for like the prelims and the grand final.
Yeah, God forbid you travel 20 minutes down to Combank Stadium. Yeah. So hard, isn't it?
But no, one player like for them that stands out every game, regardless of the way Penrith are going, Isaiah Yeo.
Yeah.
Mate, just one of the best locks in the game. And every game we see, whether they get smashed or win, he always stands up, puts 100% every game.
Yeah, no, he's very solid.
That's good. But the negative, they've lost players, and everyone knew they're going to drop down once they lose a couple players. And Jerome Luai and Fisher Harris, they're two massive key players that they lost over the last season.
Yeah.
And as we've seen, that's why Penrith aren't the way they used to be.
Yeah, and I think they might scrape in the 8, but I reckon they'll land about 9th, 10th. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're sitting 9th at the moment, but the way the comp is at the moment, it could change very quickly. But moving on from Penrith, now, I'm going to say they're a surprise because I don't think anyone expected this level. They expected consistency at this level, but the Raiders. Fox Sports have given them, and this is probably one of the ones I 100% agree with, A+, and they deserve it. They are tied second in average completion rate at 82. They are first in all of the following: line breaks, post-contact meters, tackle breaks, run meters, kick return meters, and try assists. They are leading every single one of those categories. Now, there are some negatives about playing for the Raiders. They're third in handling errors. They're dropping the ball a lot, making a lot of, knock-ons. Yeah. They're first in penalties conceded with 86. And most importantly, they have to live in Canberra. I'm feeling sorry for these boys. They have to live down there. In saying that, man, look, their team culture this year is on another level. They probably have the best team culture out of everyone. I know a lot of Doggies fans are like, nah, our culture's brilliant. It's changing. Raiders is something different. There's something special there this year.
Something's brewing, man.
Yeah.
Something's brewing. And sorry to cut you off there, but I just think, if they can fix up their penalties conceded and errors, they can go on the win the comp.
And I think that's what they're building towards, because they win this comp, Papali'i retires. I already think he's done after this year, and that's no disrespect. I think he's hit that age where you can see it's a bit harder to get up for games.
Yeah.
But I reckon Papali'i retires this year, and I think they do it. I think they play Melbourne in the grand final.
Yeah, big call. No, I rate it.
I like it. Jamal Fogarty is my positive.
Yeah.
As we've seen this year, just every game turns up. I know he was injured for a bit, but mate, his kicking game, just like Burden, amazing. Personally, as we'll speak a bit later, Origin, he was mentioned to play in the game too, which he didn't, but every round he turns up.
Yeah, no.
Well, one thing that rose me about Canberra, their lack of experience with the top 4 teams. As we saw against the Bulldogs, they were comfortably 20-0, I think it was.
Yeah, they were up.
You can't do that against top 4 teams, especially when you play Melbourne. I know they beat Melbourne early in the year, but come finals, you got to play consistent against every team.
Yeah, but I reckon that Bulldogs game is the reason they beat Melbourne at Magic Round. I reckon they took a lot more from that than people realise. I don't think you'll see that happen again to that Canberra team.
Yeah.
It would take a miracle for that to happen again to them, I reckon, this year.
Yeah, nice. And
as long as I don't have any more fights in the elevators, I'll be fine.
Mate, it's fine as blow up bats. They're good.
Yeah, I think the positive to finish off the Raiders, I'm just gonna go Papa's most games for Canberra. That was a good game, and then Ricky, we touched on it last week, mate. He was emotional after Papa did his
proud
2 tries, and it was a proud dad moment for the Canberra club. So moving on, our boys now, the Chookies, mate.
Yeah,
Foxley gave him a C.
Foxley gave him a C. I actually think they deserve better than a C, because I think they've done better. So many people were writing them off going, wooden spoon, wooden spoon, wooden spoon. As of filming, we are currently sitting 8th. So
we're in the 8th.
That's my enjoyment for the moment, because I've copped so much shit this year off mates who've sent me photos of the ladder when we were down the bottom, and now I've sent them all a photo, and I'm like, we're 8th, and then everyone else is below us that they all support, and it's brilliant. Look, 4th in tackle breaks, which is huge. 5th in kick return meters, which is huge. It means our back 3 are doing their job. Obviously, 2nd in errors, 2nd in handling errors, and we are last in completion.
Ooh.
Look, the Knights game was a perfect example. At halftime, we completed at 58%. We finished the game at 82%. So, it's there. They're not doing it that well. But, mate, as always, Teddy, the ageless wonder, the ages like a fine Italian wine.
Yeah.
He's just killing it, man. He doesn't stop. And he is probably one of the biggest reasons we are in this position, because guys have jumped on his back and gone for it. But like we said so many weeks this year, stop the stupid errors. Stop trying to force things that don't need to be forced.
Yeah.
Hold the ball.
Especially in 1st and 2nd, just hold the pill.
If it's a safe offload, go for it. But if you've got 3 guys on you, don't offload it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Teddy, he's played amazing. One player that stands out for me, though, Robert Toya.
Yeah, Bobby T, mate.
10 games in and gets a call for Origin. My guy. He gets a call off for Origin, 10 games in. Amazing. And we saw in Origin, I think I saw something last week, he came out and said he was not nervous at all. Yeah, that was his first game this year.
That's how you know he's rugby league, mate.
Mate. He's the next GI.
Yeah, no, I think, what a story for Toya, mate. I really didn't think he was going to be playing Origin. I thought he's just debuted this year, but good pick from Billy Slater, because he covered Latrell well in the first game.
And he deserves it. Against Latrell in round 5, he held him out. Stephen Crichton as well against the Dogs.
I think that's why Billy Slater picked him. I think he saw who covered Latrell the best this year. And Toya did a great job on him.
Yeah.
But one negative that's been for us, Sam Walker.
Yeah,
just setback.
True,
we were all so excited this time last week. Sam Walker is going to be playing for us next week. Then we get rumours and see it come out officially about his thumb, which leads him to another 4 to 6 weeks out. So when he's back, like it's good that he'll be back. We're doing well now with our halves,
Yeah,
but
we're still playing.
Sam Walker, like he's got experience. He's great in the half, so it'll be good to see him when he comes back.
Yeah, well, I think for Sam Walker, I think it'll be good to see what he can do with Hugo because we haven't seen that yet, and that could be something special. That could be something deadly, mate. Something that could really push us into the 8. What them two can do, and I think look, his thumb he fucked it, right, but it just gives him more time to rest up, the lower half of his body.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not upset about it. Like, he's played 40 minutes of football since coming back. I'm not upset about him having a bit more longer just to get a bit more confidence in the knee as he comes back from an ACL.
Yeah, and when he comes back, we could see something similar to the KK combo up in Redcliffe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The S's.
I'll go with my negative first. I think Chad Townsend, why did we sign him? I'm gonna throw that negative out there. Don't know what he's doing now. I think
he played reserve grade on the weekend, and to be fair, he actually played okay.
He played all right. Well,
he didn't play too bad.
Yeah, that's good. And I just think, look, he's doing his own little show now, his little Chad show. So I think he really started to turn his attention to his media career.
I think he knows he's done after this year.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be playing first grade for the Chooks again this year. That's my big call.
It's not happening. No way.
And
barring a miracle.
I think the positive for me is, I'm going to say myself, just being in the Chook pen with you lads. It's
adorable.
been good. Because the years before, wasn't sitting in the Chook pen, bouncing in and around, just sitting up in the stands and stuff. But yeah, just banging the drum, mate, and just making sure Luke's hitting his KPIs each week.
He definitely hit them on the weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I'll for the second half of the year, I'll be making sure Luke's hitting his KPIs and trying to make sure every fan's happy at full time and not getting too much negative KPI drum feedback.
Otherwise, I'll be in a mood again.
Let's not go into that. I'm still annoyed at those comments. Anyway, the Sharkies boys,
yep.
The Sharkies boys. Been given a B by Fox Sports.
I'd give him a C.
I would too, actually. I don't think they deserve a B. Positively, they're 5th in tries scored this year, 2nd in possession and 2nd in completion, which is very good. Negatively, they're 2nd in ineffective tackles and they're 5th in handling errors. I mean, at the end of the day, you look at that club, and for me, the main positive is Braden Trindle. He's led from the front. He's done everything he could. Like, he's the reason why they've had success. And I'm most disappointed in Nico Hines. I think Nico needs to give up the 7 jersey, hand it to Trindle, and go back into the 6. Because Nico is not playing like a 7 now. He's playing like a 6.
Yeah, no, 100%. Someone that stands out for me and he's injured right now, Ko Iro. Iro? Yeah, Ko Iro, mate. Like, 1 try every game. He stood out, and with the injury, as we saw the other night, Cronulla, they got the win, but they're not consistent in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're like another Manly. Them and Manly are like 2 very similar teams in the comp right now.
With consistency.
And Cronulla, they're known for every year choking in the finals, being pretenders, and it's not even the finals yet. It's only halfway through the year, and I think they've showed everyone that they're pretenders.
I reckon they'll slide out of the 8.
They may if they keep going at this rate.
Yeah. My negative, you boys talked on-field. I'm going to talk off-field, just Shark Park and all the developments going up around there. Like, it's a bit of a hole. What a hole. Like,
yeah. It's
poor Sharks, man.
I love suburban grounds, but Shark Park's getting a bit long in the tooth.
When you think suburban footy, you got Leichhardt, you got Brookie, right? But Shark Park, it's like, mate, they just got to knock it down. They might, knock it down, put another apartment block there because they've already got one which literally looks onto the field.
Build a proper grandstand.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Like, build another grandstand and you're good to go.
Yeah, and a positive, you said Braden Trindle,
yeah.
Who am I going to go? It's positive.
It's hard to go anyone beyond him. Hey, he's been the shining light.
Maybe Adam Fanua-Blake.
Yeah, he's had some good moments.
Yeah, he's had a few good moments. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe, we'll move on, I guess.
Yeah, there's not much positive to say, is there?
I only really have negative thoughts for Cronulla at the moment, so.
And I live there and I'm thinking the same, so don't worry.
What about Northies? Surely that's a positive.
No. Northies is only good on a Sunday afternoon. Let's not, and that's if you're a Sharks player. Let's not go into that one.
Yeah. All right, Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne. Look, they've been given a B- by Fox Sports, and I think that's because they've lost a couple of games. Like, they lost the Dragons, they lost to the Raiders. They're not going to stay that way. Look, They're first in three major categories: points, tries, and goals. Shout out to Ryan Pappenhausen's probably the reason they're first in nearly all of those.
Yeah.
They're 17th in tackles, which means out of every NRL team, they've made the least amount of tackles this year. They've made 3,753 tackles this year.
I'm shocked at that.
Now, keep in mind, these stats are from before the start of round 15, so round 14 and back to round 1. But they're fifth in errors, which is normal for Melbourne because obviously they do make a lot of errors because when you play their style of football, you're going to make errors.
Risky style of football they like to play.
It just comes off more often than not for them. But like I said, I mean, the standout for them, Pappenhausen. Like, Jerome Hughes has been amazing, but Pappenhausen's been just... He's been on another level and he's killing it. They've just had some injuries that have hurt. Hasn't been able to keep their spine together. And I think that's what's let them down a bit this year. And that's not anyone's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my positive has to be the Melbourne spine.
Yeah.
And that's Pappenhausen, Munster, and Hughes. Grant, like, mate, they just all kill it up there. And as we saw from the very get-go, round 1, they just killed Para. And, mate, when they're playing at Amy Park, they kill it. But one negative thing, the close games. As we've seen, they've struggled to get the win over them, and we've seen it against Cronulla, Raiders, and St. George. So if they want to come close to getting the minor premiership, which I still think they will, we're only halfway through the year.
Yeah.
I think they just got to like hold those games because every game they've won comfortably. But those close games, they've lost.
Yeah, we'll see what they can throw up against us Chookies. We got them twice to finish off the year, but...
Stupid.
Yeah, I think Melbourne, they've done it a few seasons. They'll slowly... It's post-Origin. That's when you want to look at Melbourne. That's when they're going to turn it up a notch.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's when Bellamy brings in the military, mate. He starts firing some rockets around.
Yeah, you've had a bit of fun. Now we're going to play serious football.
Yeah. And, my positive, I'm going to... Craig Bellamy. I think he's signed on for another year there, so credit to him. And, yeah, I don't think he's going to leave Melbourne, mate, anytime soon. There was a rumour, I think I read it somewhere, maybe Daily Telegraph, in the rumour mill that Titans put him on alert for not next year, the year after, but... Yeah. I think it'll be a one club coach.
I don't see him coaching anywhere else. I just don't think it'll happen.
And I think negatives for Melbourne. I'm probably gonna go. Probably the close games as well. What Lukey said. I think there's been a few games where it's not like it's very Melbourne like for them, and they just lost a few. Yeah, like you said, Cronulla, Raiders, and St. George. But we'll move on now. We'll go to Warriors and.
Up the Waz.
The Waz, mate, A. I thought, this year, looking at my top 8, I didn't have them in the 8. They lost SJ, mate, Tohu Harris, and they're playing out of their skin, boys.
They are, man. Look, they're first in completion for the comp. They have the best completion rate of the comp. They're third in post-contact meters, which means they're breaking tackles and carrying guys. Only negative, really, statistically wise, is they've made the fourth most tackles this year, 4,699.
I mean, they're tackling, so...
They're tackling, but they're tackling a lot, which is probably from them, other teams having a few goes at their line. But the standout, and I think anyone beyond Luke Metcalf just isn't in that category at the moment. Like, he begged for that chance to have the SJ's jersey. He begged for the 7. He stood up after round 2. Everyone was like, drop him. I was one of those people. I'll have my comeuppance on that. Guy's gone to another level. They've won the tight wins, which is kind of a negative that they've had so many tight games.
Yeah.
But positively, they've won it, and a lot of it's been his leadership. So shout out to Luke Metcalf and Andrew Webster and what they're doing over in New Zealand because they're killing it at the moment, man. It's so good.
Yourself, Luke?
No, they're killing it. One player that stands out for me is Wade Egan.
Yeah.
And, mate, it's not only in his attack, his defense. Like, mate, he's one of the making the most tackles in the NIL right now. He's just amazing. And another thing that stands out for me, the Waz fan base. One of the best fan bases, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah.
In the comp. Wherever you go, Cronulla, like anywhere in Sydney or interstate, overseas, like they just all turn up the Waz fans. And I love the passion. And I feel like that's why they're so strong this year. Because the fan base that gets behind them every game.
Yeah, the fans are going everywhere they are. And you, like I said, we experienced earlier in the year over at Mount Smart.
Yeah, we experienced them, mate. They were strong.
So that's probably, that'd be my positive. I think that the fans are good, but the Mount Smart experience, what they put on from start to finish at half time, they did the Pukana cam. And you did that one, but Yeah, no, NZ's a good trip, and I was telling my mates over the weekend, like when the Warriors, when they verse, like my mate, if you go for Para, Manly, when they verse your team, go over there. If you haven't been to New Zealand, it's a good excuse just to go over for a weekend.
Yeah, for sure. What's what you boys done?
Yeah, no, we did that, and if we play in NZ again next year, we'll have to bring you over this time.
Yeah, I've got the missus hooked up for that one. Don't worry. I've been laying the but I really want to go. I've never been over there. It's on my bucket list. So I've set the the seats for it.
You did Magic Round, so
I've done Magic Round, and I don't think she'll let me do that one again. That was too expensive.
But I think they deserve the A in every aspect. The only negative thing, if there was a negative thing, losing in Vegas.
Yeah. Start the year with a loss,
but they're looking so strong, and I can't wait to watch them for the next half of the season.
No, 100%. All right, nice boys, very good.
The RMTV podcast is brought to you by FDS Eyewear. FDS Eyewear is your one-stop shop for quality, affordable eyewear. With the latest lens technology and weekly eye testing services, FDS Eyewear provides competitive rates over the larger optical retailers. Visit their store at Wentworthville Plaza, just a short drive from Parramatta.
All right, now we'll move on now to State of Origin 2. So, what are we thinking? There's a bit of news bouncing around. Mitchell Moses, he was out. But bad boy Luai's back in, and I'm loving it. What are you thinking, Luke?
I don't like it at all. Matt Burton, mate. I feel sorry for those Doggies fans.
Yeah.
18th man, 4th time now. Why would you leave him as 18th man and call someone else in completely? Yeah. Matt Burton's performance this year has been amazing. Personally, I would have put him at 5'8". And Luai, I'm not saying anything bad about Luai, but at the same time, on his side, last year he set up that try that won him the game. Why wouldn't he pick him from the start?
I think...
I know it was hard because Moses looks good as well, but Luai, it's a hard one, tough one.
When the news broke, I kind of just automatically knew Luai was getting the call up.
Yeah.
Just from what he did last year. And I think that's what we missed a bit in game one. Just a bit of that mongrel. Like, yeah, we got the win, but game one was a bit soft for me.
Yeah, and it was soft on both sides, to be fair. Like, I was the same as you, Preston. The moment Moses was ruled out, I went, well, Jerome's coming in. I get what you're saying about Burton, but you're not 18th man for one position. You're 18th man because you've got the ability to cover multiple. So if someone gets hurt, he can play in the forwards, he can play in the halves, he can play in the backs. That's why he's 18th man. He's not 18th man to play 6 just because Moses is out. And to be fair, if Moses wasn't available, Luai would have been picked over Burton. The reason why Luai wasn't in the 18 jersey is because he doesn't have the ability to cover multiple positions like Burton does. And that's what you want out of your 18th man. So I think that's why they've gone Luai. But, look, as always, I've got to throw in a shot at Queensland. Billy Slater, beautiful job with your pick and stick, brother. Great job. Yeah. Way to prove that you're just Queenslanders. Because you kicked your captain away when your forwards were shit. You ditched one of your best forwards off the bench, Bo Firma. Yeah, great job. That's another tick for you. Do Queensland know what they're doing, or is Billy Slater scared that he's going to lose his job? And I'm saying this legitimately. Is Billy Slater scared that he's going to lose his job after this game? Because it doesn't make sense. Dearden played well when he came on when all the forwards were already tired.
Yeah.
Now he's got to make the 40-odd tackles that Cherry Evans had to make, and Cherry Evans is a better defensive halfback than Dearden. Is Slater scared?
I got to agree. Like, someone that goes for Queensland, you're 100% right. But at the same time, I think Billy, he's got something up his sleeve.
You reckon?
What do you reckon? Mate, I think they're going to shock everyone and win game 2.
Are you just hoping? Because
I'm pretty confident Billy wouldn't be making all these changes for the fun of it.
So what happened was Billy went into Ashley Klein's room, slipped him something, so that Klein can even it up. That's what it'll be.
So
get that in early.
So let's predict a big moment. All right, we'll go from Jordy. We'll go right to left, mate. What's your big moment? What are you calling?
Luai setting up the final try again, or at least a try that puts the Blues ahead. I just think that left side combination is going to be too good. Luai will get past Dearden, offload it to Gussie. Gussie will either go through or he'll get it out to Latrell to score. It's very similar to Game 3 at Suncorp last year.
Interesting. I think Munster, he copped heaps of shit after game 1.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna come out and prove a point.
He's the captain now. He's gonna have a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
Mate, I think he's gonna have a big game. Tina's gonna step up in the middle,
Yeah.
and the hammer, he's gonna fucking hammer the Blues.
Well, to be fair though, Munster's scared because he's like, crap, I'm captain now. So if I lose, I'm going to get dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a close game, but I think 1-12 definitely. It'll be a good fight. I think there'll be definitely a bit of a beef going on.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. Look at the odds. New South Wales $1.45. Queensland, they've come in a little bit, 276. I'm gonna load up on the Blues. I'm gonna load up 13 plus. I'm gonna load up on Blues 30-6. 30-6. I think the Blues are gonna be really focused on just first half, just footy, just going hard out the gates. Forwards, backs, they're gonna score. Maybe half time, something like 14-0 type of thing, right? And then, we'll get to 30. Might be 30-0. And the last 20, I reckon Luai just going to start chirping in Munster's ear. And this is the big moment. Munster gets distracted and he kicks one of the Blues and he gets 10 in the bin. That's my prediction.
Repeat of the 2019 grand final?
Yeah. I think so. And Luai will just smile and wave. I think that's what's going to happen. But, we all have predictions here. So you're going to go Queensland 1-12 and you're going to go...
I'm going New South Wales 1-12.
1-12? You think it's going to be closer?
Yeah, I'm thinking like a 22-14 game.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm talking like maybe 8-6 at halftime sort of thing. That's where I'm sitting.
No, it'd be good. And, it'd be good for the Perth locals to experience a real sport. A bit of rugby league over the West Coast.
AFL stuff.
Yeah, so good on him. So, all right. Now we head into round 16, so a few of the players will probably back up post-Origin, depending on what happens. So the first game, we'll run through them. Tigers, $3.22 to the Raiders, $1.35. I'm going Raiders 13 plus.
Raiders 13 plus.
I reckon Raiders 1-12.
Yep. All right. Well, Warriors, $1.25 to Penrith, paying $4.
Warriors 1-12. I think Penrith are going to try and shock the world here, but I think the Wars are just going to hold on like they have this year.
Yeah, wow, $4 for Penrith. That is quite a lot of money right there.
I think they sold out that game about a month or two ago. So, mate, it'll be a packed out Kiwi crowd. I think I'm tipping the Wars 13 plus.
Ooh, I'm actually gonna go Penrith 1-12.
Yeah.
I'm saying $4 here, and I'd load up on that.
He's getting excited by the money.
So you're not going to load up all on New South Wales and you put a bit towards Penrith?
Yeah, I think so. I think Penrith, look, they'll get Cleary back. They'll get all their rep players back, and I think they might. They got back-to-back wins. I reckon they'll go 3 in a row here. And the Warriors, I reckon they'll be due for a loss. I'll go Penrith for that one. And Dolphins, Knights. Dolphins $1.30. Knights $3.55. Thoughts, boys?
So before I said 156 points accumulated.
So make it 206.
So 230. I reckon. I reckon probably
That
a
could be an
60-0
NRL record broken.
60-0 game or something. 60-70.
I reckon the Knights will put up a bit more of a fight than that. So I'm thinking like 52-12. But yeah, I think Dolphins are going to win that one big.
Yeah, I'm going to go 13 plus for them. And South versus Storm. South $3.10 and Melbourne $1.37, boys. What are we thinking?
Yeah, so Latrell will be back. I think South will put a fight. I think Melbourne will win, but South's, it'll be close. 1-12 Melbourne.
Yeah.
Latrell will probably score 10 points by himself. Problem is, Melbourne will probably score 30 points by themselves. So, I think Storm 13 plus is a safe bet there.
Yeah, I'm going to go safe here. I was almost going to go Souths, but I think Storm will just get over the line. I think, the players they got, I think Pappy might bag a few, and, who knows how Munster will want to play after his Origin performance. We'll find out, but, I'm going to go Storm. I'll go 1-12 here. Yeah. And, Donkeys versus Sharks. Broncos $1.50, Sharks $2.58.
I think the Sharks are going to win this game.
You reckon?
I know Broncos had a big win last week against Titans.
Yeah.
But I think Sharks are going to get
Cause
up there. They'll get up there and cause an upset. Close game, obviously, 1-12.
Yep.
But I think the way Fanua Blake, if he turns up the way he did against St. George up that middle, Payne Haas will have a fight on his hands.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's determined on Haas and Carrigan, how they pull up from Origin. But I'm going to go for a weird bet here. The Donkeys to win 1-12.
Yeah.
Ezra Mam to be booed over 12 times in the game.
I love that. Yes.
Overs.
Overs. And go on the overs on the booing.
We'll see if Sportsbet has a market for that.
I wish they did. I looked for it.
I'm sure if he plays game 3, I'm sure they'll have one for a core stadium.
I will pay for tickets for us to all go and boo him.
I'll wait for my ticket.
Damn it, I should have said that.
I'm going to go Broncos. I'm going to go 13 plus here. I reckon they might probably found a bit of confidence off that win against the old Gold Coast Titans. So, yeah, I'll back him 13 plus there. And to finish off the round, the mighty Chookies, our boys, against Cowboys, $1.50 to $2.59. Cowboys coming off a huge loss. What are we thinking?
It'll be a tough one. If Cowboys didn't have that loss, I'd say I was going to tip the Cowboys originally. This afternoon, I was thinking, the Cows, but I had a hard think about it tonight. I think the Chooks should just get that win comfortably.
Yeah, I think Origin guys back. Give us a bit of go forward.
Yep.
Yeah, Nafahu, Feketi's playing with a lot of confidence. I think it might be like a 24-16 game sort of thing. Like it's very possible to be that, but the way we've had to defend our line so much this year. So I'm thinking Roosters 1-12 will be a shout.
You boys better hope that Queensland win though, because if they do, Cowboys might come out a bit more laid back. If they lose, the ones that are playing from the Cowboys, they'll come out a bit shittier.
The one guy, and then
Tommy didn't.
But then if they win, Reece Robson will come out and he'll be that trashed. He'll be excited to want to play. So it'll be like, it'll be fine. He'll be drunk. We'll run through the middle.
I think, I think I'm going to go Chooks 13 plus.
Wow.
Chooks 13 plus. I think Cowboys, they're going to be in a bit of a form slump for the minute, I think. Give them a few games. I think Chooks, they played all right, but I think they want to turn it up a bit now after the game against Newcastle.
I feel like Cowboys are always like one of our bogey teams. As you
Yeah.
said in the last
Yes
couple
and no,
of years,
yeah,
like Magic Round.
It's a mixed bag with them. It's been weird.
And there's actually one more game, guys. It could be the game of the round.
Spoon Bowl.
It is. It's a spoon bowl.
Why are we even talking about it? I think it's the poo sling of the round. The bottom table clash, I reckon. Eels Titans. Eels at home $2. Titans $1.85. What are we thinking?
Both teams playing golf this year, thinking the lowest score wins, and they've won a lot apparently by that odds. Look, I'm going the Titans. I think if they play the way they played against Manly, I don't think Para have got much of a chance, especially Para without Mitch Moses.
Yeah.
I think Para's screwed for the rest of the year now that Moses is out. Zach Lomax, there's only so much he can do on the wing. I'm tipping Titans 13 plus actually.
13 plus.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna back Titans as well with you, Lukey, but I'm gonna go 1-12. I think maybe just that home ground advantage, but it depends how many fans turn up to Combang.
Titans will get about 2 fans, 2.5.
Yeah, probably.
200. Let's be nice. 200.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in to episode 16. And remember to like, follow, and subscribe. From all of us here at RMTV, it's goodbye.
Have a great night, guys.
See yous.